Once upon a time, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games defined cool. From the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater back in 1999 on the PlayStation 1, all the way to the insane punk energy in American Wasteland, Pro Skater 1 broke down the walls. Pro Skater 2 rewrote the rulebook. Pro Skater 3 perfected the formula, up to the Underground games giving us full storylines and cutscenes. The series hit highs, then lows, then Wii Motion board lows. And then, there was silence. Since Neversoft's disbandment with Activision, the Tony Hawk series hit a weird limbo. The development rights were then given to Robomoto. My god, they were terrible. The weird-ass Tony Hawk's Ride and Shred, which involved you having to spend an obscene amount of money for a plastic board motion controller that didn't even work properly. Up to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, which was a super half-assed remaster of the original THPS 1 and 2 games. I say half-assed because the game was a completely broken mess with only half of the levels from the original games. It made Cyberpunk 2077's launch look like Citizen Kane in comparison. After that, there was silence. The series took a hiatus. Then in 2015, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 dropped.
Oh my god!
Or more accurately, was dropped. Like a cursed relic Activision wanted to bury before the license expired. Which is exactly what happened. I recently finally picked up the game on the PlayStation 4. And listen, I knew the game was bad. I knew what I was getting into. I had seen all the reviews and gameplay. It was a case of not even needing to play it because I knew it was donkey. But me, being the complete sociopath that I am, I still decided to give it a fair shot to see for myself. And I'm gonna say, yeah, this game definitely took a few years off my life. It promised to go back to basics. No gimmicks, no plastic boards, just pure skating. Instead, what we got was a physics experiment gone completely wrong. A broken, barren, bizarre mess of a game that made Ride look competent. This is the story of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. A game that showed up late to its own funeral, forgot its own name, and then tripped over its shoelaces during a eulogy. Let's dive in. First off, we're greeted with what I feel is the most generic-ass main menu screen of all time. I mean, come on. You can look at this screen and tell right off the jump this screams laziness. It's just a generic skating montage over a blue backdrop with the most basic options menu I've ever seen. And one of the first things I notice is there's no create a skater option. Like, really? I can't even customize my own skater? Christ, that's been a staple for all these games. Even the original Pro Skater on the PlayStation 1 you can make your own skater. But no, the game just lets you choose from a list of pros that are all basically skins. I say that because none of these skaters have any skill stats. You know how in all of these games each of the pros had their own stats? Each skater in a way played differently, some having good vert stats, others better street stats, etc. In this game, all these skins have 0 stats, which you have to play to unlock them. You can't make your own skater, but hey, at least you can play as Lil Wayne and Tyler the Creator. That's something, I guess. And now to be fair, and I mean this in the most generous way possible, at least this game lets you play as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yes, it's as stupid as it sounds. And yes, it is absolutely the best part of this game. There's something weirdly satisfying about watching Donatello hit a blunt slide on a rail that doesn't render properly. But you'd think they'd be secret skaters, but no. They're all just here for you to play as right off the jump. But, okay, whatever. Now how does the gameplay work? Oh dear god. Yeah, the gameplay feels like someone described Tony Hawk physics to an alien who's never seen a skateboard before. Tricks are floaty, grinding feels like your skater's glued to the rail with prayer, and every single wall is made of invisible rage triggers. In this game, wall riding is auto-matic. Like, you know how in the old games when you press the triangle button to wall ride? Yeah, no, it's not in this game. Once you ollie up to a wall, you just automatically stick to the wall in a horrible animation, by the way. And another thing that pissed me off was that you can't switch grinds anymore, which was a huge way to build combos. Now, yeah, they wanted to go back to basics and all that, but Jesus, it's f***ing awful. You can't double tap tricks anymore, so you just do the same awful kickflip animation over and over again. It's just frustrating. You'd think with being called Pro Skater 5, they'd have at least some things from Pro Skater 4 or even Underground. The only things of those they added was spine transfers and wall plants. But honestly, you're never gonna use spine transfers because all of these levels suck. None of them are designed for that. Literally, I think I only spine transferred like twice throughout my playtime. Jesus, man. And the wall plants are absolutely useless. While having a god-awful animation, they just don't work properly and move way too fast. It's almost impossible to continue your combo with them. You know how in the old games, you can link together massive lines and improvise on the fly? Here, you're lucky if your combo doesn't randomly end because your character suddenly remembers gravity is a thing. A lot of the charm of these games was being able to build up wacky combos. Now it feels like you can barely do that. The reverts are completely busted, and as you probably assumed, don't work properly. There's no flatland tricks for manuals, and my god, this game just pisses me off! And the slam button. Oh, the damn slam button. Hitting the grind button automatically slams you to the ground, mid-air, during combos. It's fucking stupid. Why did they link it to the grind button? It's like the devs were trying to tell us, hey, you're not allowed to have fun. Go touch grass. I'm sure those devs are touching a lot of grass now once they lost their jobs after this game launched, though.
Ha! Got him!
And the levels in THPS 5 feel like rejected playgrounds from a mobile knockoff. Just wide, empty maps with no soul whatsoever. It's like someone played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 once, took notes, and then fed them into a malfunctioning 3D printer. And no, I'm not gonna go through these levels. Once I got to the asteroid belt level is where I called it quits. I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm shocked I lasted that long, to be honest. The school level, bland and lifeless. It's just a literal copy-paste of elements from School 2 of the second game, but they made it twice as boring. The beach level somehow makes skateboarding near the ocean feel like a hostage situation. The factory? It's as if the warehouse and hangar level had a baby and that baby grew up to be a depressed alcoholic. And don't expect any interesting secrets, clever lines, or meaningful verticality. Everything here feels procedurally generated by a demoralized intern with 5 minutes and a deadline. Now let's talk about the goals in Pro Skater 5, or as I like to call them, glorified chores with a 2-minute timer and zero soul. Instead of the classic Pro Skater approach where levels were filled with dozens of fun interlocking objectives like collect skate, grind the rail, or wall ride the bells, Pro Skater 5 gives you a mission-based system that feels like a cheap MMO side quest menu taped onto a broken-ass skate game. Here's how it works. You load into a level, and you basically at this point need to play a private game because for some godforsaken reason they wanted to make this game primarily online. Yeah, that didn't go well, did it? But once you load in there are these little markers you're supposed to skate up to. But the game also has an option to just choose them right from the menu. It's just easier that way. And you choose a goal. Things like get a high score, destroy objects within the time limit, this weird ass big head goal where you have to get as many points as possible before your head explodes. And then there's this weird ass Hawkman goal. I don't know, whoever designed this, I want to meet you personally because I got a problem to settle with you. Or there's these stupid ass goals which require you to only get points while grinding or manualing. And some of these scores get almost impossible. Why? Because you can't switch tricks while grinding or manualing. Oh my god.
I hate this place. This zoo, this prison, this reality, whatever you want to call it.
Literally, there are goals where you can only build up points by manualing through a cone setup. But how the hell am I supposed to get 100,000 points while my points look like they're only going up 1 cent at a time? It's just stupid. Oh, and I say a goal because guess what? All these goals are the same for every damn level. And that's not a lie. There's little to absolutely no variety in these goals at all. They're all the same for every level. The only exception being like the destroy a certain object within a time limit goal will have a different object depending on the level. Wow, yeah, 10 out of 10. And when you complete goals, you unlock skill points, which, yes, you have to leave the level, go back to the menu, back to the skater, and add your points from there. It's all just tedious shit. My god, I'm about to crash out just reviewing this, holy hell. And here's the kicker. You can't just freely explore and knock out objectives at your own pace like in the old days. Yeah, the levels will have skate letters or combo letters or a secret DVD scattered throughout them, but you don't really care. It feels like they're just useless. They're just there just to be there. No, you have to manually go into the menu, launching goals one at a time, and sitting through load screens in between. Imagine playing Pro Skater 2, but every time you wanted to collect a letter and skate, the game asks, "Are you sure you want to attempt this goal? Loading. Please wait. Goal started. Go!" It's like trying to speedrun a Tony Hawk level through a series of DMV appointments. And you may be wondering why I haven't brought up the soundtrack. Yeah, because it's limited. I saw apparently there's 32 songs in the list, but I swear to God, they just played the same 5 songs on repeat, all resetting after every loading screen. I literally just turned off the music entirely and brought up a playlist of the Pro Skater 3 soundtrack. It made me feel a bit better. And the game also gives you these weird power-ups that involve you shooting fire or missiles. I wish I was joking. Because someone on the design team said, "You know what Pro Skater needs? Magic powers and robot murder." Because nothing says street skating like Call of Duty Tony Edition. Worse still, every goal has a star rating, encouraging you to redo them multiple times to master them, which would be fine if the goals were fun or consistent, or didn't sometimes fail to register what you just did because the collision detection was modeled after a fever dream. So what the hell happened? Well, the dev team at Robomoto had a great idea. Make a game before the Tony Hawk license expired at the end of 2015. Unfortunately, that deadline wasn't soon, it was now. They reportedly had just months to build the game, which explains why everything feels like a glorified beta. And the result? A $60 game that shipped incomplete, broken, and with an almost 8GB day one patch that literally contained the rest of the game. The disc on its own is about as useful as a coaster with Tony Hawk's face on it. In the end, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 wasn't just a bad game. It was the kind of bad that leaves a crater in its wake. This game feels like a weird-ass Tony Hawk clone on the PS2 you'd find in a bargain bin. This game single-handedly buried a franchise. Fans abandoned it, critics incinerated it, even Activision moved on like it never happened. It's a rare thing to see a game so catastrophically mismanaged that it becomes a cautionary tale in game development classrooms. It's right up there with E.T. for the Atari, Anthem, and whatever the hell Ubisoft did with Hyperscape. But somehow, miraculously, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 came back in 2020, polished, playable, and a love letter to the glory days. That game showed that the magic was never gone. It was just locked away behind layers of corporate panic and terrible hit detection. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 didn't ruin skateboarding, but it did feel like watching a childhood hero get shot in the head. So, should you play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 in 2025? No, only if you've lost a bet, or you're making a YouTube video like me. Otherwise, save your money, your time, and your sanity. Go play literally anything else. Hell, go outside, touch some grass. Real grass, not this PS2 textured grass that looks like sad broccoli. But that's about as much as my sanity can take right now. This game sucks eggs, and I hope to never touch it ever again. So that's about it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which Tony Hawk game was your absolute favorite.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Appreciate you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the future.